everyone. I am Dr. Nisha Kumari, Assistant Professor at School of Business, Aditya University. Today we are going to discuss about the user testing. By the end of this particular lecture, you will be able to understand what are the different usability testing methods we are having, as well as the difference between the usability A/B testing and feedback loop methods under the user testing, and at which stage we should apply which testing method. You will be able to understand by the end of this particular lecture. So coming up to the explaining the user testing, as we discussed previous classes, that there are some stages in the design thinking process which we follow. So first one is your empathize. So here under empathize, we were trying to understand the users in depth by collecting the data by using the empathy research methods and analyzing those data. After empathizing, we were defining the problem in a clear and concise manner, which we call the problem statement. After defining the problem, we were doing the ideate, where we are generating the solutions to solve the or to address the particular problem which we identify in this particular stage. And after ideation, we spoke about the prototype. So where we were creating the cheaper model of your final output. In that we spoke about the high fidelity prototypes, low fidelity prototypes, wireframe and mockups. Now we are talking about the last stage, that is testing. So under this testing, we are talking about the user testing. So user testing is the like method, or you can say the approach, where we are going to provide our product or the service to the users, and from their experiences we are going to collect the feedback from them, and after collecting the feedback, based on their feedbacks, we are going to do some kind of modification or the changes in the prototype or whatever stage we are at. So before full scale of implementation, we are going to do the testing with the users. In that we are having basic three main important methods. First one is your usability testing, then A/B testing, and the last one is your feedback loop. Now I'm coming up to the usability testing. Usually we do the usability testing at the time of while we are developing the prototype or your product development. So while we are doing the prototyping and product development, at that stage we will provide this particular product or the app or the you can say the service to the limited number of users, and from them we are going to get the feedbacks, like how was their experience while they were using our product or the service, and is there any kind of complexity that they faced, is any kind of difficulty they faced, or any kind of errors they faced during the usage of that particular solutions. So while we talk about this process, so first we are going to select the representative users. So while we are talking about the representative users, we are going to take those users which we identify that they are facing that particular problem. So the defined problem which we spoken about, those users are going to represent those particular users which were facing that defined particular problem. After selecting the representative users, we are going to give them the task to use our product. So whatever the product or the service we created, we are going to give to the users, and they are going to utilize that particular product. So we are going to observe their behavior and the interaction while they are using the product or the service. How is there any kind of problem they are facing or not, and based on their experiences, we are going to record the difficulties, any kind of confusion they faced, or any errors they faced while they were using our product. And based on those feedbacks, we are going to improve our design by analyzing the findings throughout this particular testing. So when we talk about that usability testing, at the stage of prototype or the product development, we will give our product or the service to the users, and from them we are going to collect the feedback, and based on that feedback we are going to improve our design before doing the full implementation. Now second, coming up to the A/B testing. So in A/B testing, we can see here, for example, in A/B testing, there will be two, you can say the prototypes or the products of the same product. For example, control A and variation B. So control A is your main product, the main version of your product. While we talk about the variation B, it's some kind of modification or the changes has been done in that particular product, and then it will become your version B, means version 2. So for example, A is your main product. While we talk about the A version, means it's your main product. While we talk about the B, it's your modified, or you can say the version 2.0. So in this A, this is the core product which we are having, and this B, we did some kind of modification. Now why we are doing this kind of modification? To see any kind of changes are happening or not. While we are having more than one option for the same product, we are going to test which is going to give us a better result. For example, if you talk about while we are registering for some kind of courses, online courses, or if you want to check any kind of university openings or the courses the universities are offering. So usually what happens, when we are opening the website of the university, we are going to check get one particular box, and in that box they are going to ask the details, your mail ID, your phone number. So usually what happens, because our details are going to be shared with those peoples, we hesitate to share the details, and rather than sharing the details, what we do, we'll simply skip it. So now because of these things, what is happening, the consumer or the user is coming to your website, but by seeing that particular box, they are leaving because they are not ready to share their details with you. So now, rather than directly mentioning that box while they're coming to your website, what they do, they will provide you the mini version of the syllabus, or you can say the course outline. So by seeing these things, what will be happening, the students will be get to know that these are the different courses, and these are the mini versions of your curriculums which they are going to learn at your university. So after, if they want the full curriculum or they want the full outline of the course, then they has to give their details. So now we are having one basic version where while you are opening the website, there only you getting this box, and you have to fill your all the details, and then only you can go further, correct? And second option is that first you are getting the mini version of the courses, and if you want to get to know more about those courses, or you want the university to connect with you, then this particular box is appearing where you can fill your details. So because of these things, what will be happening, the click rate will increase, or you can say the usage of that particular website will increase. So these kind of the differentiations we measure using the A/B testing, where we are having one A means main product, your control product. While you talk about the B means your variation product, where we did some kind of modification, and based on the modification, is any kind of changes happened or not, whether it's bringing you the positive impact or it's a negative impact. So while we talk about the A/B testing, it's a cycle of continuous improvement, means it's going to give you some kind of competitive advantage, as well as able to understand your users much better and provide them much better satisfaction level. And the purpose is that to identify the goal, what is the main goal. Here we are going to create the hypothesis. For example, we want to increase the click rate. So now how we can increase the click rate, that kind of modification we will do in our variation B, and then we are going to analyze the data based on the variation, like what is the difference is there between the A and the B product which we are having, and we are going to formulate a hypothesis that okay, we want the by appearing the box at the second step, the click rate is going to increase. So that will be your hypothesis, means there is a significant relationship between your click rate and the appearance of the details of the box at the second stage. Okay, and then we are going to run the experiment between these two versions, and based on the outcomes we are going to analyze their statistical significance. While we talk about the A/B testing, the outcome we measure in the form of statistical, means in the terms of the numbers. Then third method is your feedback loop. Feedback loop is kind of continuous process, you can say, where we are launching our product, and after launching the product, we are collecting the feedback from the consumers, and after collecting the feedback from the consumers, we are going to analyze those feedbacks, and then based on those feedbacks, we are going to do some kind of implementation in our, or the changes or the modification in our product or the service. So while we talk about the feedback loop, it's a continuous stream of the data, and it shifts, it helps in cache regression or the shifting user sentiment in a real time. Where, for example, in the starting when we launched our app, so there were 100 users who came and installed our app. Now with the time, based on the feedbacks given on that particular page, now we are having 120 users. So it's your positive impact, correct? But if it's coming to 80 users, means it's a negative impact. So now based on these feedbacks, your users are getting impacted or affected, whether it's going to increase or the number of users are going to decrease. So now to understand this thing, what is happening, we are going to analyze those feedbacks, and based on those feedbacks we will work on it, and we will do some kind of modification or either some kind of upgradation to enhance the positive impact, to increase the number of users. So while we talk about the process, first we are going to launch our prototype or the product, and then we are going to collect the feedback from the users, and that feedback we are going to analyze using some different tools which we will discuss in the further class. And after that we are going to implement those design changes which we are talking about, modification or any kind of upgradation. And this is the continuous cycle, because the product we want to keep in the market forever. It's not like that just one time launch and that after that we are not taking care whether the product is being sold or not, whether the users are really need this particular product or not, or there some kind of changes are required or not. So if you talk about in the wholesome, when we talk about the usability testing, it shows the how real users interact with the product, or to identify the usability issues, whether they are facing some kind of any like complexity, any kind of errors or any kind of difficulty while they are using our product or the service. Then A/B testing, it compares 2 or more versions to get the much better product which is giving our much better positive impact. Okay. Then when we talk about the feedback, it's a continuous process of collecting and listening our users and understanding what they want from our product or the service and implementing those things which are feasible. Then the purpose of usability testing is to understand the user behavior, and is there any kind of usability problem is there in the product or not, and to improve the user's experience. While we talk about the A/B testing, it is for your like based on the data which we are getting on those different versions, we are going to check the user's preference or their behavior. While we talk about the purpose of the feedback loop, here we are talking about the ongoing improvement and enhancing the user satisfaction. And when we are using the usability testing, at the time of prototyping or the product development, means your initial stage. While you talk about the A/B testing, we are using once we are going to implement the product, now to increase the impact of that product or the service on the users, we are going to come up with the different variations, so that we will get to know, okay, if these are the changes has been done in our existing product, these are the impacts which we are going to get. And when we talk about that feedback loop, we are going to use this throughout the product life cycle to make it continuously improve for enhancing the consumer satisfactions, because the entire purpose of design thinking is the users and how we can keep the satisfaction level higher of the users, how we are able to meet the need, or you can say the desires of the users are the main center of the design thinking. So in a summary, user testing methods, it helps you to validate your decision regarding your design, whether it's regarding your product or the service, or usability testing, when we're talking about, it helps to understand the complexity of your solution, whether it's your product or whether it's your service, understand at a initial stage itself only, rather than coming in the market and then facing the problem. While we talk about the A/B testing, it helps you in like improving the impact of your product or the service which you already introduced in the market. And while we talk about the feedback loop, it helps you in improving continuously, and overall user testing helps you in reducing the design risk and improves the satisfaction of the users and supports the development of user-centered and high-performing solutions. Thank you.